Hello, my friend. How are you? Hopefully, you're doing well and enjoying this holiday season. My hope is that it's winding down for you. It is moving a little bit slower. We are in such a busy society, and life is busy, and work is busy, and family, and taking care of ourselves. So, hopefully, it's slowing down for you, and you're having some time or getting some time to yourself and with your loved ones. I thought I'd stop in as we kind of round out 2023. I've been sharing episodes. I've been doing my best to do it at least once a month. I do want to get, more out there for 2024 and beyond. So we'll see how that goes. But at any rate, I had a conversation on Tuesday. I had the awesome privilege to be in a room with this person, actually a billionaire. So I wanted to share some of the takeaways. Hopefully that's okay with you. I thought it was very helpful for me and beneficial. It added to my life. So of course I want to share. And so we talked about, it was business people. And so they were talking from a business perspective, but of course I take things and I look at it because the bulk of my life has been in corporate, right? So I look at it from that lens, and I have my notes here, and he was sharing the different levels from a perspective, I guess, of like how he got to where he is. And so I started to take that and take it from a perspective of a corporate professional. And so if you think about a staircase that has 4 stairs, right? There's a lower level, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. So if you can picture that in your mind, if we look at that lower step, that's the step from a corporate professional standpoint is what he would call the labor step. That's where you do a lot of physical activity. Back in the day, in the industrial age, when people used to work in factories and in distribution centers, and some people outside in the field and so on and so forth, they use their bodies, right? Very physical. And that's the labor. And that's where you'll find a lot of, if you look in the modern age, if you look at today, let me put it like this. Think about when you go to a hotel. Who are the hardest working people at the hotel? I would venture to say the housekeeping people, right? You're in your hotel room and you're getting ready to go out and you got the door open or they're knocking on the door. I typically put my little tag on there because I don't like to be bothered and I don't like nobody in my room. So I'll get my towels and stuff, but I digress. But they're working hard, right? They're the hardest working people in the hotel. You have everybody else, but they are also paid the least. Right? But they work the hardest. Think about, the people at McDonald's who have to do the fries or the hamburger and they're working over a hot fryer or whatever, right? The people that work the hardest on this first step are typically the hourly employees, right? And he made reference to this when I was in this meeting. He was saying, this is the level where the mindset of the people is that if I just work harder, if I perform harder. And so I started thinking about us and I'm thinking that's how we thought. That's how we think in corporate America. Because I thought that I'm just going to work harder. I'm going to perform harder. I know on my performance review, I should get an exceeds expectation, because I'm working so hard. But it was just like a light bulb when he was sharing. He said, working harder, they're paid the least because the person that owns the McDonald's, the franchise owner, he's just giving the orders to the manager from his house in his slippers or in her slippers, in pajamas, virtual. And these people are over the hot fryer or the people, the housekeepers are scrubbing the toilets, got their gloves on, spraying down the counters, changing the sheets. They're the hourly and they're working the hardest and being paid the least. So that's the first step. And I would say that's the first step in value, right? So it's not so much about how much you perform or how much value you give, because people tend to think that I'm going to give so much value that I have to get more money. I have to get the promotion. I have to get, the raise or get the incentive or the bonus. But this is the first step. So if we take it to the next step, this would be your mid-management level. So you're not doing the laborious work now, and you're not in the hourly now. You're making about, he even was showing us like salary ranges. He was saying, at this mid-management range, he said people are making maybe 80 to 100K or somewhere like that. I could have it totally off, right? But they're not doing the labor. They're managing the people that's doing the labor work, right? So that's at that level. They're not providing a lot of value because they're not using their bodies. Now they're using their minds and they're delegating the work, and they're over or managing those that are doing the work. And the purpose of the conversation was how, he got to this $1 billion. And he said it's not going to happen by doing more work. So that's the context of the conversation. And so if we go to that third step, right, we went from the labor to management and then to leadership. And from the leadership step, right, you're taking a step up these stairs. You're on that third step. From that perspective, now you're a communicator. And so now you're telling, it's like a team that you have of managers, of teams, because they have a team. So he said, you're the leader of a team of teams. And so you're making between 100 to 250K or 300K, which isn't bad money. Not bad money at all. He said, but you still won't get to billionaire status. He said, you're the person that's communicating the vision. You're communicating the strategies, and then everyone below you from your management team is executing on those strategies. He said, so you have to be at this level. This is where you're able to communicate effectively. And you're able to share your vision so that those that are underneath you adopt the vision and run with it. And so that's that third level. And the top level, where the billionaires are, he said it's just mastery. He said these are people that have stuck with something and they've mastered it. And one of the things he said, to be honest with y'all, he said, the reason why it's only like 7 or 8 of us, he said, because everybody else is lazy. They're not going to do, and I just did a video about this. He said, they're not going to do the work. And it's true. He said, it'll never happen for people working. He said, I know people that got 2 jobs and 3 jobs, and they're working so hard and they're performing at a high level and contributing at a high level. He said, it'll never happen. He said, have you ever met someone working 2 jobs that was rich or wealthy? Now, I don't want to make this too long, but I can't even go into the wealth conversation that was had. It'll blow your mind. It'll blow your mind. Because it's not what I thought. I can't speak for anyone else because I'm sure that you're probably a lot more savvy than I am when it comes to those types of conversations. But just in considering those stair steps, and when it comes to value and what you are putting out in the market, my hope for all of us, and the reason why I do what I do, and you probably already know this if you're listening, is that we become the best version of ourselves. And I know it's cliche, I know people say that, but I truly, truly mean it. If you really think about the words and think about that phrase, the best version of yourself. And I did a video maybe last week and I said, some people are okay with being average. Some people are okay with being mediocre. But if you have it innately inside of you, you have a desire for more money. You have a desire for a bigger house, to travel, to put up money for your future, to fund your retirement, to send your grandkids and your nieces and nephews and kids to college, and to be an executive. Or if you have it inside of you, that means that you're capable of doing it. Or let me say this, you have the ability to do it. Because there is a difference between being capable and having the ability. Because if you don't have the capacity, then it won't get done. And that's really a mindset thing. You can have the ability. You can literally look at a job description and say, oh, I can do that. I know you've done that before. But what you haven't thought about is the mental stress, the emotional intelligence that sometimes goes with some of those roles, or having the ability to change a tire. But you didn't think about that. You got to take the little lug nuts off. You got to you got to jack the car up. You got to hold on to this. You got to do, right. You have the ability. You get in the car and you tell your friend or you tell your husband, your spouse, or significant, oh, I got it. I can do it. Because in your mind, you're like, oh, I can do it. Sometimes I can just do it. But you didn't think about everything that it entails. I'm talking about myself because that's something that I would be like, oh, I got it. Oh, I got it. But I've since learned, it hasn't ever happened with the tire situation, but I have done different things where I'm like, I got it, but I didn't think about what it all entailed to do the thing. So that's what I mean by capacity. And so to get to this level, as I get ready to close, to get to this level of mastery in 2024, it's about having the capacity, having the mindset that I'm going to stick with what I'm doing. I don't even know. I may not even know because I didn't know, right? If you're like me, in recruiting, I thought, shoot, I'm done with this. I ain't doing recruiting no more. I had no idea of the different opportunities and options that I had in this field. And I've spoken to several professionals after we've had a conversation. And I said, well, have you considered this? Because I'll never tell anybody, what you should do or whatever. And they're like, oh, I didn't even think about that. And that's only because, and it's not because I'm just super smart. It's just, we're too close to it. We're just in it. We can't see. I talked to someone yesterday. Oh my gosh, this gentleman, it's easy for y'all tug on my heartstrings, right? Just super sharp. I mean, this guy is so sharp, but he's so frustrated in a toxic environment. The things he said, it resonated with me. And I get super passionate. I mean, I was like going in, not on him, but like, I know the politics. He said, I didn't know about politics. He said, I didn't know. And he said, I'm a black guy and I'm a big guy. And so I can't say much. And I just felt for him. And so he was like, Kelly, he said, I've looked at working with other people. He said, I saw you on IG. And he was just like, okay, this woman seemed like it. And even when he got ready, because he invested in himself to work with me. And he was just like, I just feel like I can trust you. And he said, I just got to do this. I just got to. And if you were just like a fly on the wall and you saw him, you would be able to see his frustration and feel for him. And when it comes to people like that, it's not even a money thing. It's, as humans, you naturally just want to help. You just naturally want to help. And that's what I told him. I'm like, I got you. I got you. I'm like, I got you. But yeah, I mean, if we're going to do this, we have to pursue it with everything that we have. Otherwise, we're going to be in the same position. And if that's your goal, that's cool. That's okay. But I have a feeling that it's not, and that you want more for yourself. And listen, either way it goes, you will invest in yourself by time, by money, and it's going to cost you something. It's going to cost you opportunities that you lose, and it's going to cost you to prepare for the opportunities that come to you. Either way it goes. And I'll tell you something. If I'm being totally transparent with you, I had to pay to be in this meeting on Tuesday night, and it wasn't cheap. But it's changed my life. And I don't think you can put a price to that. The last thing I'll say is that you can't expect someone to pay you if you're not willing to pay or invest in yourself. It just doesn't work like that. It's the law of laws. If you can't expect someone to give you something, right? You've experienced people just taking from you, taking. If they don't give you something, you're gonna get tired. At some point, they're gonna be like, okay. You're gonna be like, well, you gotta give me something. So just something to think about as you go into 2024. Invest in yourself, if it's reskilling or upskilling or updating your document so that you can attract opportunities to you, so you can learn more about yourself and what it is that you want to attract. Letting someone look in to get a different perspective, to see things through a different lens. Because you have certain optics and other people have certain optics of what they see. And so I wanted to share with you my experience. Hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully it gives you something to think about, even if it's just what is the thing that I should be mastering, because mastery is focusing and being hyper focused on the one thing. And even if it's something that you think may not be anything, if you think that job or your role, you've been doing it so long and you just tired, you want out, I'm telling you, get another perspective. Almost get a second opinion. I'm telling you, it worked for me. And I don't tell people anything, but I'm telling you this right here, it could open doors for you, even if something you just didn't even see. Something you didn't see. All right, my friend. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for hanging with me in 2023. We got a whole lot more for you, and there's a lot more in store. And my hope and prayer is that you just go for what you want, and that feeling you have on the inside was put inside of you by God above for a reason. Tap in. Happy holidays.